sex or love, love or lust. Pick and choose which one you choose. Sex or love, love or lust. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who do you lay with? Lay with. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who you go to bed with? Bed with. A deadly sin. Sin, simple bliss, evil desires of human nature, pray to forgive, repent for sin, sexual wants, sexual needs, love or lust, it's a must, for what we want, in God we trust. Do a one night stand unplanned, waiting your whole life for your wedding night. Sex with no passion, just pleasure, exchanged for monetary favors. Easy to deceive with makeup and weave, pleasure to achieve, the evil deeds to succeed, to fulfill any fantasy. Watch the moment just come and go, no emotions. The devil wear Prada in a blue dress, juicy red lipsticks with high heels that hiding the sex appeal. Nothing wrong with safe sex, but safe sex really a safe bet. No matter what, no one is safe when the lights turn off. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who do you lay with? Lay with. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who you go to bed with? Bed with. And then they sin. Or simple bliss. Evil desires or human nature. Pray to forgive. Repent for sin. Sexual wants. Sexual needs. Love or lust. It's a must. For what we want. In God we trust. Do a one night stand unplanned, waiting your whole life for your wedding night. Is waiting, overrated. Be a Virgin Mark, or a Virgin Mary. Got you before you get married. Soulmates for decades, we share no sexual connection. In the world is going through a sex recession. Size doesn't matter if it's through a Virgin Mary. Holy matrimony, two becomes one. We soul for soul with a heart full of gold. Deeper connections means deeper penetration that leads to a greater sensation. When two becomes one, a 2-for-1 deal. When heaven gates is concealed. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who do you lay with? Lay with. Sex with the devil or make love to the Lord. To the Lord. Who you go to bed with? Bed with. A deadly sin. Or simple bliss. Evil desires or human nature. Pray to forgive. Repent for sin. Sexual wants. Sexual needs. Love or lust. It's a must. For what we want. In God we trust. Do a one night stand unplanned, waited your whole life for your wedding night. Where do we stand? By saying I do on the wedding night. Over one night stand might be a double agent, undercover. No trust, just lust. Nut bust a bust. Sex with no commitment. Is it a sin or human nature? Lust for a nut. Lust beyond any temptation. Feel the passion when you feel the vibration. But are you safe from the demons and demonic spirit? Is it worth the temporary pleasures to take a risk for long-term damage in the long run? For short-term satisfaction, pick and choose which one you choose. Sex or love, love or lust, pick and choose which one you choose. Sex or love, love or lust.
Alright. We here again. We are here. Right. Hey, boy, AOCC me.
Access granted. Agent confirmed. Access granted. Agent confirmed.
So we're going to hit this topic right off. Alright, so as we all see, sex with the devil, make love to the Lord. Pretty interesting. You know, I feel like we need to especially Queen on this subject matter. This has been something that pretty much question that you see all the time now. I mean, it just seems like all throughout you see people continuously showcasing the world, expose themselves, that how dissatisfied they are as far as for the bedroom. Yeah, I mean, and then we just sit back and we wonder, I mean, they explain as far as for the situation, how it went down, and it seems like people just doing the same results, but it's like they're all doing the same routine. When you keep looking at it, people say, when it comes to like certainly as far as for ladies, he's not really packing, or he's not really sexually appealing. Find every excuse. And then we just never ask, well, are we doing it the right way though? I mean, they say that sex was made from God, and then you just take it out of marriage. How are we going to be? Are we really going to be satisfied? Because then, sex is like a spiritual connection. So if you're just continuously not being connected to that person, if you're just having all these discrete sexcapades with everybody else, how does it then soon become, having it the right way? Is it the right way to be connected with that person? Since it is a connection, spiritual connection. This is just something that routinely, keeps on going involved. People just showcasing their failures.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Continuously saying as far as for the displeased, but then when you just think about their actions, what they're doing, sharing themselves with everybody else, it's like, how is it that, you're not understanding as far as for is it the correct way? And then, playing devil's advocate, then you gotta ask yourself, people who still do it the right way, even they still complain. You wait your whole life, the Disney fantasy, you know what I mean? Waiting for that moment, say I do, in front of everybody. And you have permission to do it. And then you get so worked up, so bent up. Then once it's over, it's like, you look failure.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And then I just sit back and we wonder, like, did we do it the right way, or is this how it's supposed to be done? Some people still feel like, they let down. So I just sit there and I just wonder, this situation, how is it that you do it the right way? And I think too, in my opinion, when it comes to doing it the right way, when they say with the Lord, I think people are still not choosing who they want to be with. Some of it is forced. Some of it is, I don't really have that deep connection. Some of it is pretty much family morals. So people really end up miserable. Not being content or not being with the person who they desire, who they want. And then we have this big issue. Then people want to say, marriage is, it's overrated. man is not what it's supposed to be. You know, it's just so much disappointment. And now sitting there stuck with someone, and it's like going nowhere. Yeah, so I feel like, let's get tested in some of this matter, because this is starting to become very, very serious. Like when you look at it, especially when it comes to the youth. This youth has been, as we always say, has been over sexualized very badly. But every time we look at the youth, it's not like they grew up the way we grew up. The over sexuality is just crazy. Well, first things first, sex is just too addicting because the fact is it's everywhere. It's in every place, everywhere you go. You can't really get away from sex. I'm a millennial, and sex was not always this accessible. You had to work hard to go find sex. But then now, sex, in this day and age, it is just too much. Like, to me personally, yeah, we should not be. And sometimes we get caught up in it because we don't realize how bad it gets. Because I'm thinking, it's not as bad as we used to have it. But the problem is we're not in our time. Our time is different. For instance, as far as for sex, it's legal everywhere. Having sex being available, palm of your hand is crazy. You should not have sex being available. Being able to